Hi, so this is my response for PE 560, Confronting Our Disabilities. So I've watched Nick's videos for a lot of times, especially when he was popular back in the day. His videos always floated around on Facebook and Twitter and all that. I've seen Oprah's interview with him a lot of times, but I always get something new out of it. He's just really an inspirational guy, and I do think that he's God sent. He's here to send a message to everybody to be reminded that, you know, disabilities doesn't necessarily mean that you're useless. You gotta remember that you're still able to do things, and it might not be everyday things, but you gotta look at the silver lining in things and kind of just stay positive. And it's hard, and I get that. I've never experienced it, so I don't really want to say that. It's something that you can easily move on from, or something can easily turn into a positive situation. But I feel like he's here to just remind you that you can try, and and all that. I found this form to be especially difficult because I've never really experienced any type of disability. I've been injured, and there's been times where I felt disabled, but I definitely wasn't. Um, Half the time I think it was just me being a baby, or if I was injured, it was because of my own doing. So didn't really need to, have the excuse to feel bad for myself or anything like that. Um, but of a time where I got injured, I broke both my legs and my arm, not at the same time, but I was skateboarding one time and I fell off my skateboard. Yeah, that was my fault. I was on a bar and I swung off and I broke my arm. It's my fault. I needed better grip. And, you know, I I use my injuries as kind of like a learning lesson. And this is one that I always tell my girls. And it's when I was playing in college, I had actually torn cartilage in my ribs. And it was one year I tore cartilage on my left rib, like on the left side. And I couldn't breathe. I felt like I cracked my rib. I didn't, but it was probably the worst pain ever. And then the following year, I tore the other side. And I think those two injuries were meant to happen. It was my body trying to tell me to slow down. My body trying to tell me that sometimes I can't dribble into a defender like that. And it also reminded me though that I needed to really just start taking care of myself, because I didn't start taking care of myself until after I was done playing. I thought, hey, you know what? I'm young. I can work through this and whatever it is. That's not the case, because I'm 2 years out of playing, and I can't sit for very long. I have to be standing up, and sometimes I can't even stand up for very long. And I know that as I get older, obviously, I assume I'm going to be gaining weight at some point, but that's not going to work out well with my ribs. So, all because of me not taking care of myself like that, and protecting my ribs in that case, wearing like a protective guard or something like that. All because of that, I'm suffering now. And so I tell my girls that, you know, if you're hurting right now, it's okay to sit out of practice. It's okay to not push yourself 100%. And I was that player that, I wouldn't tell my coach that I was injured. I wouldn't tell anybody that I was hurting until I had an assistant coach that knew the face that I was making, and then she would sit me out. But, I just teach my kids to just be truthful with me. I'm not trying to hurt them. Their success is my success, and I think I didn't give myself the courageous choice. I definitely should have sat out, and that would have been the courageous choice, but I didn't. So I think my courageous choice now is talking to my girls right now, trying to give them some type of insight of it's okay to be hurting right now, sit it out. This game doesn't count, sit it out. Understanding to them that basketball is great. Basketball, you might live and breathe basketball, but it's not that important to you when you're 26 years old and still hurting. Um, Anyways, Well, I can't wait to watch your guys' videos. Hope you guys have a good week.